So really what we're looking for with the use of biofeedback is to try to prevent muscle atrophy, which is one of the hardest things to deal with in post-op knee patients. So we have type 1 and type 2 muscle fiber types we're going to talk about in a little bit. And so when you have surgery on your knee, you have a decrease in type 1 and type 2 muscle fiber decrease. So they've shown this in studies where they take biopsies and study the quadriceps muscle. And there's probably a more prevalence of slow twitch loss of muscle fibers in ACL torn patients. You also have a loss of oxidative enzymes and reduced mitochondrial activity. So we really want to wake up those slow twitch muscle fibers. So we know that quad strength is really important. There's a direct relationship between weakness and the inability to return to sports. There's an arthrogenic activation deficit at the spinal cord level. There's also a decreased, recently proven, cortical excitability. So your brain also becomes a somewhat decrease in excitability, as well as the spinal cord H reflex that occurs with a swollen knee. So I think that's one reason why biofeedback works, is because it requires cortical energy, whereas the muscle stem, and I'm not completely against muscle stem, I just find that biofeedback works better for me, is more of a distal application. So it starts at the top and goes all the way through your system and ends at your muscle with biofeedback. So we know that if you have poor quad function, you really have difficulty returning to sports. So that's why my patients do really well, I believe, as a result of biofeedback. So if you cannot have good quad function, there's a direct correlation between your fear of return to sport and quad weakness and a lack of confidence. So this is our friend, Kevin. Bob and I have been together for a long time, so I have to needle Bob Mangine a little bit because he's so fun to make fun of, and he takes it very well. So he's got the wrong knee here. You know, it's my left knee, Bob. So it's not really true. That didn't really happen, but whatever. Anyway, so we need biofeedback, and it really hasn't been popular, possibly because there's minimal research. Why is there minimal research? Is because electrical muscle stem was a rental product, and it was thousands and millions of dollars on rental up until recently. So there was a lot of money funded for research, but biofeedback was not a reimbursable product. But now we've made it very inexpensive for you to get involved with biofeedback through our device. So muscle stem proposed effects is thought to reverse the normal recruitment pattern. We're going to talk about this a little bit, dive into the science a little bit. So when you get electrical muscle stem, it stimulates the large fast twitch fibers before the slow twitch fibers. And you need those fast twitch fibers when you get under a heavy load. Those muscle fibers are the ones that take over. But really what you need is a slow, graduated recruitment to really make it work. This is called the size principle, and it really is an order of recruitment. So you start with a slow twitch muscle fiber, and as you introduce load, you get to the large motor fibers, and that allows you to recruit the slow twitch. So if you start with muscle stem and you just stimulate the fast twitch, it's more difficult for you to make a muscle and recruit the slow twitch. With biofeedback, you start with slow twitch, and gradually, as you get a more intense contraction, you have a smooth increase in muscle fiber strength. So again, this little cartoon depicts that. You got a slow twitch, you got type 2A, then you get type 2B when you really load your muscle. So that's the theory behind biofeedback. So there really haven't been that much studies on biofeedback, but this one study showed that after 6 weeks in the ACL reconstructed group, they had better isometric strength than muscle stem. This is the old biofeedback units that were LED driven. This unit, this not available, no longer in the U.S. This one's about $800, and if you get a 2-channel like ours, it's about $2,000. Ours, the list price is $400, so makes it a little bit more acceptable to get into biofeedback. So here I am getting ready to talk as I adjust my belt. So we're going to talk to you about biofeedback application for a second.
In the upper middle of the anterior thigh, we use channel 1 for just single operation. Then what we do is you turn on the amplifier here and the light lights up. Then you pull up your app that you see here, the M-Trigger app, and then you hit connect, and it finds via Bluetooth the amplifier. So here's the amplifier. Hit that, and you're ready to go. So then we go into settings for the initial time, put it on single channel, put 20 minutes of total time, and I've got 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Save that, and then we set the intensity. Go hit the back button, go to the train, and have the patient make a muscle. Okay, make a muscle. And you can set the threshold of sensitivity by sliding this bar back and forth. So probably the minimum we do is somewhere around 700 and relax. Now we set his intensity. So if you go below 700, it doesn't really pick up as well. So start at 700 or above and have your patient work up to get the light up. And then we just hit the play button, and it'll cycle on and off. Initially, you relax, and when it says flex, flex as hard as you can. Go ahead and tighten that now, squeeze hard. Try and get that light all the way to the top. Be a good patient, right?
Yeah, right.
Squeeze hard, 10 seconds hard.
So once you set those parameters, it's very easy. We have a stand that you set it on, and then the patient can just go. So when they come in the clinic, we just hit the train button, connect the device, and you're ready to go. So it's not complicated. Sometimes muscle stimulants can be complicated. This is a very simple product.